Hey devs, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're diving into one of the most useful hooks in React, useCallback. If you've ever wondered how to optimize the performance of your components by preventing unnecessary re-renders, then this hook is a must-know. We'll break down what useCallback does, when to use it, and how it can help improve the efficiency of your React apps. So, let's jump right in. So first of all, let's take a quick look at the official documentation of React. So here we can see that it says, useCallback is a React hook that lets you cache a function definition between re-renders. This is useful on preventing unnecessary re-renders, particularly in performance-sensitive components like those with heavy computations. It takes two params: the function that we want to cache and the list of all reactive values referenced inside of the function code. Here I need to clarify that this is not the same as the useMemo hook, which instead memoizes the result of the function, not the function itself. Though we can achieve a similar result in a tricky way with useMemo, I will leave a link to a video where we talk in detail about that. So useCallback is commonly used when passing callback functions to child components, like in this case, so that when the parent component gets recreated, when the parent component re-renders, as this function is not recreated, then the child component doesn't get re-rendered. This doesn't mean that we should always cache functions when we are passing them to the children, because it also implies a dependencies check on each re-render to determine if the function should be recreated or not. So we should only use it when we have heavy calculations in the child component and we want to prevent it to re-render also with the parent component. So let's see how we can implement useCallback in the following example. We have then the product page, which receives the product's prop and renders also a button with a counter, just a counter state that we can increment with a button, and then also the shipping form child component that receives the handle submit function in the props. So the shipping form is just a component that console logs mounting shipping form whenever the component gets re-rendered. So in this example, if we go to the navigator and increment the counter, we can see the message saying mounting shipping form component. You see, so this means that this component is getting re-rendered every time that the product page gets its state updated. So let's suppose that we have a heavy calculation here in the use effect or wherever here in this component, and we want to avoid this component to get re-rendered every time that the counter state gets updated in the parent component, which has nothing to do with what we have inside the shipping form. So for that, first of all, we have to wrap this component with the React memo, which tells React to memoize this component and prevent it from re-rendering unless its props has changed. So for that, we have to wrap it with react.memo and between parentheses, and then declare here function shipping form and just a regular function here, and don't forget to import React. So this will tell React to avoid re-rendering this component unless handle submit has changed. But the problem here, if we go back to the navigator and keep incrementing the counter, is that the component will keep re-render because the handle submit function will keep getting updated, since every time that the product page gets re-rendered, this function gets recalculated, and then all the time the shipping form is receiving a different function than the one it had. So for that, we have to wrap also. Here is where the magic of the useCallback comes. We have to grab the handle submit function with the useCallback hook and include here, like in the use effect, the dependencies array with the reactive values that we are using in the body of this useCallback, which is in this case the products. So this will tell React to avoid recreating this function unless the products prop has changed. So with this update here in the code, if we go back to our application and refresh, we will see now that every time we increment the counter, we get the counter incremented, but we don't get the child component recreated or re-rendered. So let me show you another use case of the useCallback hook. Here we have again the product page component. We just removed the shipping form and just leave the counter, and now we have a show products function that just logs check the products and the products, and we want to show this when we mount the component. So if we go back to our application and refresh the page, we can see that the products are logged here and everything is fine there, but we have here a warning from React that says that React hook use effect has a missing dependency. Use show products, either include it or remove the dependency array. React is telling this to us because the show products is interacting with a reactive value. Reactive values are the ones are props, values or states declared inside the component body, and they are recalculated on each re-render. So this means that the show products function can change on each re-render, and that is why React is telling us that there is a missing dependency here. So if we add the show products here, the problem here is fixed. And now if we go back and we increment the counter, we have a problem here. And the problem is that every time that we increment the counter, the product page component gets re-rendered, and this function gets recreated. So as this function is recreated, it's different from the previous one, so the use effect is triggered. So to fix this, we have also to grab the show products function with useCallback hook. So let's do it. And now useCallback is complaining because it says that we are missing the array of dependencies. So if we just leave them empty, it will also complain because we are using a reactive value inside of the function and we are not declaring it in the dependencies array. So it says here has a missing dependency, products either included or remove the dependency array. So why is this? Again, because the products prop is reactive. This means that the products property can change between re-renderings. So useCallback can get outdated if we want to the useCallback to keep this function updated every time the products prop changes. So if we add it to the array, then we have the warning removed, and if we go back, then we fixed the two issues we had. Now it's logged when the components are mounted, and now if we just increment the counter, we don't have that message again. So with these two examples, I hope you understood clearly the usage of the useCallback hook and how it works. Anyways, I invite you to read the documentation, which I will leave in the description of this video. If you have any doubts, please leave them in the comments. Without anything else to say, see you in the next one.